whatever the problem the team is facing, the more you can get that skill from the team as a leader, the more effective you're likely to be.
Hello, Peter. How are you today?
G'day, Damien. I'm always excited to talk about NextGen Sales Masterclass.
It's an exciting time to be in because there is uncertain times out there, but I think, from my perspective anyway, there always seems to be uncertain times if you're watching the news because, as we know, if it bleeds, it leads, and people get a little bit distracted about what's actually going on, particularly if they're a leader of a sales team. What's your experience in motivating sales teams?
Yeah, you're exactly right. When there's uncertain times like we're experiencing now, people tend to get a bit more isolated, particularly post-COVID. They tend to work a lot more alone.
Hmm.
It's a typical stress response to withdraw from that social support and that team. So it's more important than ever as leaders and as team members to think about how we can, with quite simple tools and techniques, like create and run a high-performing sales team.
How do we do that? I mean, as you know, I'm a big fan of pop culture and I love my movie references. One of my
Yeah.
favorite is U571, where Harvey Keitel says to Matthew McConaughey, "Don't you ever say what you said to the men back then, I don't know." That those words will kill a crew. From a leader perspective, I mean, obviously you don't know everything. How do you go about inspiring a team while not knowing everything?
That's a great question. And old school thinking, Damien, was all about this idea of the hero leader that knew everything. And you would stand there in sales meetings and tell the team everything they need to do, and that was your job.
Mm,
However, the problem with that, though, is it leaves nothing for the team to do. The more new school thinking that we talk about in the Next Gen Sales Masterclass is how to create a more collaborative culture in your team so that everyone's contributing their unique pieces. Because you'll find when you do a sales team trait analysis, you'll find your team has different strengths, different traits. Some are better at closing, some are better at meeting, some are better at analyzing, some are better at prospecting. So whatever the problem the team is facing, the more you can get that skill from the team as a leader, the more effective you're likely to be.
that leads into that one word. Can you say it? Starts with C, collabora.
Collaboradabra, my
Exactly.
favorite word, the magic of collaboration.
Exactly. And that's I love what you've just described there as well, because it is about the leader's job is not to know everything. They don't, and there's no way you can and I think we're all sophisticated enough now to know that someone can't know everything.
Yeah,
But the leader's role is to know where you're going. That's their
yeah,
job. So they
yeah,
decide where they're going, and or they're told where they're going if you're part of a bigger organization. But then you're right, it's to draw out all that knowledge, because people have so much knowledge if you actually give them the room to open up and speak. Well, that's my experience anyway. If you go, okay, we're going this direction, how do you think we get there?
yeah,
It's amazing what
exactly.
comes out. Like you say, some people are good at closing, some people are good at prospecting. And if you draw that together, and that's what Collaboradabra is all about, bringing that magic of collaboration and drawing from each other's strengths, because that makes you stronger. Do you find that inspires people as well?
I think it does. I think we're hardwired to feel good by doing well with each other. We're social beings. No matter
Mm,
how introverted we are, we still enjoy human contact and we enjoy making a contribution to the team. And there's also a lot of good work, as you know, Damien, around this wisdom of the crowds, which is about a smart, well-formed team
mm.
makes a smarter decision than its smartest member. So if you are a sales leader, it's about building that collaborative culture, understanding the strengths and key traits that the team have, and working together to achieve better results than you could alone. I'd challenge any salesperson to say that you can achieve more alone than you can
Mm.
with people around you. That would be probably more an ego issue than a skill issue, I'd say.
Yeah, and I love what you're talking about there. I remember from my military days, we had what was called the confidence course, and you couldn't. All the tough guys that went there couldn't complete that because you had to work as a team to succeed. And you're so right that working as a team brings that out. And the other component to that, which we now know from a psychological perspective, the best you'll ever feel is when you're giving to someone else. It
Yeah.
creates all these chemicals in your body, and creating an environment as a sales leader where you can take the person that might be good at closing, the person who's good at prospecting, allow them to give to the group. They feel amazing about that. Is that from your experience as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you one of the phrases I like to use in working with teams is you feel good when you do well, and you do best and you feel best when you're doing good with people. And I know, as I'm sure you do too, and any sales leaders, you'll know that you feel best when the team performs at their best. It gives you a very special thrill. I think that's one of the reasons too why we like watching team sports. We like watching a group of people getting together, uh, demonstrating and contributing their unique skills and achieving a goal together. So it's about that. And one of the things I'm excited about in the NextGen Sales Masterclass is how we show people how to do that live in the room.
Mm.
It's not a theoretical piece. It's real and it's practical.
Yeah, and that is such a critical aspect, and I'm going to draw from that military analogy again as well. We drill things in. The reason we drill things in is because we operate unconsciously many times, as you know, and you've had that experience. I know I've had that experience. We've gone in and gone, I know how to do this, and then messed it up completely because I hadn't drilled it, I hadn't practiced. And yeah, the Next Gen Sales Masterclass is, you're right, is all about that, drilling it in so that we actually do operate from that unconscious behavior. But I love what we're talking about here with leadership, and getting it clear that sales leadership is not about knowing everything, but it is about knowing where you're going. And that's a
Exactly.
critical distinction.
And one of the great fortunes we've had, Damien, is working with world-class sales leaders in different parts of the world. Is the best sales leaders, sales directors, and CEOs I've met have the view that they work for the team doesn't work for them. So if I'm a
Yeah.
sales leader, my job is to ensure that my team individually excel individually and as a team, and to create the right environment for them where they can excel, because I can't make the whole target by myself. The whole
Mhm.
team needs to make the target, and that's best when it is, there's that word again, collaborative in approach.
Collaborativa.
Abracadabra. And one of the exciting things in the masterclass is we'll have a whole room full of people contributing ideas. So when we're talking about issues and problems, and you bring your sales issues or sales problems to the group, the group will help you find solutions or suggest ideas or approaches or questions you can ask, or ways to think, as well as us. That whole group. When you think of a masterclass group of high performing salespeople, there's some great ideas that come out of the room. And as a coach and a trainer for many years, some of the best ideas I've come across and learnt from participants in workshops that have had a very different perspective on things and thrown their experience into the room. That's the exciting part.
It definitely is, and what you're talking about there, and I love how you brought in all the people that we've worked with around the world that have this aspect of sales, of this future focus, because next gen sales is the future of sales, and it is your sales future right now. And we bring that all together in the masterclass, where you get that practical experience to implement in your day-to-day life, but also you're creating a network of people that you can draw from, a masterclass, a mastermind of people that you can draw from. So I'm really excited about the Next Gen Sales Masterclasses, certainly in Sydney and in Melbourne, and expanding around the world as well.
Thanks, Damien.